Hello, my name is Joel and I'm a Year 1 Charis on-campus student. I chose to come to Charis because I saw my brother Micah who did Charis. I saw a drastic change in his personality for the better and his walk with God that I'd never seen before, and I wanted a taste of it as well. So I grew up as a pastor's kid, and I guess having the Bible put into me from a young age, I just stopped receiving it, which sounds bad, but it's just the truth. And I was really looking forward to really unpacking the Bible this year. And man, like so much has gone in, like all the Old Testament surveys really landed. And I've really seen such value in the Old Testament that I just didn't appreciate before. Understanding the context, that the stories of how God works in those Old Testament and New Testament, it never contradicts itself. Just my knowledge of the word and practically applying that to my life and to my marriage, to my friend groups, to my church here at Charis, that has just been a benefit that I take that with me everywhere. It's my first response is, what does the word say about this? Or if I'm in doubt, I just look at Jesus and stuff where any situation come up and I can just open the word and go, how did Jesus respond? Or where's a story in the Old Testament where someone faced something similar? Just having this knowledge of the word that I can take with me everywhere, which was severely lacking in me before. So that's been probably my number one point of growth, is like I can now unpack the word and I can cross-reference it with more word. I can get scripture to interpret scripture. That's been the biggest highlight for me because I was in a serious need for that growth. Day school was an interesting one. I'm a very social person, and I found that a lot of the fruit to my personal growth came from my interactions with Micah and other like-minded Christians. So I felt like day school for me, even though it's a bit more of a challenge to put things on hold to get here, I wanted that social interaction with like-minded believers that were under the same teaching, so I could bounce some of the revelations I was getting off them. And so that was a big driving factor as to why I was opting for day school. Another big factor was my wife, Aisha, is quite introverted, and she did day school with me. That was the deal. We were both going to do it together. And since Aisha is quite introverted, I really wanted her the opportunity to discuss some of the revelations with other like-minded believers too. And so that was another big driving factor as to why we went down that route. There's been a few challenges through the year that each of the students have faced that aren't Charis related. They're just challenges that we get hit with. And we actually got together during a lunch break and sat down and prayed over the situation. And that was just such a bonus, like having that time where it's like things aren't at its easiest, but you have other people that are in the same position as you, that are under the same teaching as you, that can pray right into it. And it's just that reassurance, and they just kind of put that peace in us, where that happened on more than one occasion, which was just a huge plus for me and my wife, Aisha. Yeah. Knowing that the word and the love of God, it's all positive, has taught me that there's, even in times where it's been challenging, there's always something to be positive about. And Andrew Womack himself really touched on that in the last course we had. And man, that was a huge eye-opener, is just how much that's affected my personality, my well-being, my mental health, is just learning to focus on God. That means focusing on the positive. And now I'm not even really naturally inclined to look to the negative anymore. I kind of naturally have started to just look at the positive. Again, it just comes down to look at Jesus. Well, if you're thinking of doing Charis, I highly recommend it because of there's no way you can get the amount of growth and practical application anywhere else from what I've seen. And I've grown up as a pastor's kid. My parents founded their own church, and it's much like Andrew Womack's teaching. Yeah, like so much of my growth comes from coming to Charis. And man, like the tools that I've picked up, I'm putting into my marriage, into my social life. I'm putting into my relationships with my family, and it all comes from sitting under the Word. And there's no price on growth that deep. And I just think it's absolutely worth the time to put into that and to really get a good revelation on God's love and using that in your, like these tools that they give you and provide for you. There's no price on that. It's absolutely worth every second.